Welcome to another edition of Second Take. I'm Jillian Kushner, and there is no Armand for a while. I decided I was sick of him, threw him out, added Anthony back. Y'all remember him? He won the Around the Horn episode that we are all still very bitter about. So, Anthony, say hello.
Hello, I'm Anthony, and yeah, we kicked Armin out, so he's not going to be here anymore. Let's just say that.
Yes, Anthony's going to be the host for a little bit, the co-host for a little bit, while Armand is attending to some other things. Maybe we'll find out after his little stint away is over. But we're gonna dive right in. There's a lot of drama going on right now about Ray Rice, and yes, we've already talked about this, and we said Ray Rice got a 2-game suspension. But now that's completely changed. On Monday, TMZ released the video of the elevator incident. All we had seen was a picture of Ray Rice dragging his wife or fiance at the time looking lifeless out of the elevator, and now we saw the elevator footage. It is horrible to watch. She just got knocked out. He hit her very hard. It's awful. That got released Monday. Everyone's freaking out about it. The NFL, well, the Ravens ended the contract with Ray Rice. The NFL said he's indefinitely suspended. The CFL even said he can't play. So now Ray Rice is no job. This doesn't mean he's going to jail, and people are like, why isn't he going to jail? It's because he's now married to the woman, and she didn't press charges. So it's not because he's famous. It's just because she didn't want to press charges. And then today, even more drama, the Associated Press announced that police sent the NFL a report of what had happened in the elevator and the footage, because the NFL was saying they never saw this. So there's a huge mess right now. The NFL is getting a lot of criticism. Roger Goodell is getting a lot of criticism. None of us really know what's going on, but this is not a good time for the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that the NFL, I think they've screwed themselves by getting too involved in personal matters before, and now they can't kind of take it back. So now the whole Ray Rice thing is blowing up, and I feel like she's not pressing charges because for a reason. So everyone needs to take that into account, which they're not. And well, Roger Goodell, if he saw the tape, I don't know what else to say. This is so new that none of us can really tell what's going on.
Yeah.
He knocked her out, so.
I mean, yeah, you said it perfectly. And the reason I think she's probably not pressing charges is, these kind of abusive relationships, a lot of manipulation goes on. There's a lot of other factors that a lot of us aren't thinking about. Because a lot of people are blaming her for marrying him, but this is a whole huge mess. And yeah, the NFL is supposed to be about football. And right now, I feel like this whole summer has been about social matters. We got drug issues, abuse issues, and nothing is really about football right now. The season just started, and we should be talking about football, but instead we're talking about Ray Rice, and this is not a good look for the NFL or Roger Goodell. He's supposed to be tough on everything, and he's going to suspend players for a whole season for drugs, but he's going to give someone who punched his wife 2-game suspension, and now he's like, oh, I guess that was wrong. Everyone's going to be mad at me, so let me just get rid of him altogether.
Exactly, I agree totally. And now, guess what happens? When anyone else does drugs, anyone else hits their wife, anyone else does anything, you have to give them the same punishment. So
Yeah.
he's kind of setting a bar that's going to cause a chain reaction, I
Basically, he's setting the precedent that you do this, death penalty. You're done. You're out. So
believe. Exactly.
this is a messy situation. Even more messy situation. Well, not even more, but equally messy. Bruce Levinson, the controlling owner of the Atlanta Hawks, announced on Sunday that he will be selling his share of the team after a inappropriate and offensive email he sent in 2012. And this email said something that the black people in the crowd are scaring the white people. Something along these lines. Took him 2 years to realize this was probably not the best thing for him to say. He was also very against, the whole Donald Sterling thing. So we had talked about this months ago. Very hypocritical. A lot of these owners probably have done the same thing, and this guy got caught with it. I guess he wanted to announce it before it came out against him, but he's now no longer going to be an owner of the team, and he's out of there. But another very messy situation.
Yeah, and again, I think it's kind of sad that, like, yeah, he did mess up, but it's sad now that with Sterling, and now the Hawks owner, he has to sell his team. It's really weird and messy that these two organizations, NFL and NBA, keep having to get involved in such non-sports matters. It's like the NBA is supposed to be about basketball, the NFL is supposed to be about football, and these two organizations keep having to deal with matters that totally don't even deal with their sport itself. And like I said, it's going to cause a chain reaction. The Hawks owner, he said he's sorry. He was supporting Sterling. I think a lot of other owners agree with those two, but they haven't been caught yet. So we're just gonna wait and see what happens.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's just a mess because when you think of the Clippers, what are you going to think about now? Donald Sterling. Not about the fact that they've been playing basketball, that they did pretty well last season, but we're all thinking about Donald Sterling. They had this racist owner, so it's really tainting everything. And another thing of precedent. Oh, you say something bad and you got to sell your team now. So there's a lot of messy things going on in the NBA and the NFL right now, and we need it to end. But let's talk about some baseball. Derek Jeter had his last home game in Yankee Stadium on the 7th, and even worse, they lost. So that was probably a very bad farewell. I'm very upset that that's how he had to go out. It was a great celebration. His family was there. Michael Jordan was there. Michael Jordan had the highest praise for Derek Jeter. I think most of us do. But he just said that he's a role model. He's an idol of his, just really great things, especially to hear from Michael Jordan. That's most people's idols. So that was great. Again, really unfortunate that they had to lose that last game. The Yankees, very subpar season. Sadly, it was Derek Jeter's last. So it's kind of just, this is the end for
Yeah,
him.
it's sad that Derek Jeter went out like that, but at the same time, it's actually pretty great that he had someone like Michael Jordan being able to speak about him, and it's great that people are looking at Jeter as the Michael Jordan of baseball because it shows how much of an inspiration Jeter is and how much of an icon he has made. Like I personally don't even like the Yankees, but I can look and say that I love Jeter. Anybody, you can go to any sport, any team, doesn't matter if you hate the Yankees, whatever, you know who Jeter is and you know you respect him.
Yeah, I mean that's totally true, and that's why Michael Jordan has been making those commercials about Jeter, all those things. So it's sad to see a legend like that, his career ending, especially such a bad season. But some Red Sox news: Dustin Pedroia is undergoing season-ending surgery on his left hand, so that's good for us Yankee fans. Red Sox don't have him anymore, but this has been a very injury-filled year in every sport. So here's another one to add. And let's talk about the Rangers, Anthony. I know you like the Rangers. You want to tell us that little bit of sad news?
Yeah, we've had a pretty bad season thus far, and it just got worse when Ron Washington decided he was going to resign. He said he was resigning for personal matters, but there's always controversy behind that. Yeah, we've had a bad season. I know before he said he wanted to resign soon, but it's sad to see him go because he did pick the Rangers up from a bad place. They were a bad team for the longest time, and he kind of brought glory back to the Rangers, I feel. And as a fan, I hate to see him go, but hopefully he'll be back sometime. He didn't rule out coming back ever, so maybe we can one day have him back. But until then, I wish him his best of luck, and hopefully he figures everything out.
Yeah, this was a very weird thing. I was pretty surprised by it because, living in Texas, a lot of Ranger fans, and they've definitely come up the last few years because they've been so good. And Ron Washington has been great. So kind of wondering what's going on, if he was pushed to leave, whatever. I'm sure more is going to come out as time goes on, as it always does, because nothing remains a
Yeah,
secret anymore.
exactly. Social media has killed secrets, so.
Exactly. So let's talk some NFL and actually the football aspect of NFL now. So, first weekend, everything was great and fun. Seattle, Green Bay. Seattle, obviously, Super Bowl champs. They're coming back strong. Armand and I both think that they could win it again this year, and so far it's looking good. New Orleans had an overtime loss to Atlanta, which is not the best thing you want starting off the season. Some other notable games. The Redskins played the Texans, and the Redskins lost 17-6. So that whole Redskins might be good this year. That got shot down kind of quick. Buffalo and Chicago had an overtime game, and Buffalo won that. Again, not a great game. Tennessee versus Kansas City. Tennessee won that 26-10. Don't know what's going on here. Here's probably the most surprising game to me was New England lost to Miami 33-20. Not sure how that one happened. Maybe it's a slow start. You don't really know, but yeah. Do you have anything to say about that one?
Well, I just thought I saw Tom Brady looking sluggish after he kept getting hit, and the Pats they looked off. But Miami, I do feel like they are a good team this year. But yeah, the Pats shouldn't have lost. That was unacceptable. I don't know. I don't know if they can pick it up. Hopefully they can, because the NFL is better when the Patriots are doing well, because they are. They do have a lot of fans. So
Yeah, and Tom Brady said he'll retire when he starts to suck. So let's hope that's not anytime soon, or maybe he was like giving us a warning into this season. This was a lovely matchup. The Jets versus the Raiders. Jets won 19-14. No one really cares about that one. Jacksonville and Philadelphia. My Eagles won 34-17, so I'm very happy about that one. Super Bowl season coming your way. Just wait on it. Love this one. The Browns lost to the Steelers 30-27. And yeah, let's just hope that continues so Johnny Manziel hype can die. Minnesota won against St. Louis, which was a big deal because I believe they didn't win any road games last year. So this is good. We've been talking about this a lot, that Adrian Peterson deserves a ring, probably more than most people because he's amazing. So will this be the year? I'm not sure, but hopefully. This one I have to talk about because the Cowboys suck. The 49ers beat the Cowboys 28-17. Let's just say Romo was awful. Romo was atrocious. And I hope Anthony's over here crying. Tell me about it, Anthony.
as a Romo fan, I can't say I've lost faith, but I can't defend him anymore. He's had many chances. He he's coming off two back surgeries. He looked scared. He looked slow. Looked like he couldn't make a decision. So he might be done. If he's done, the Cowboys are done for the season. We already have injuries derailing us, but that was an unacceptable game. I think 49ers fans should not be happy about that game whatsoever, considering how the Cowboys almost made a comeback. So 49er fans, watch out. You guys didn't play a very good game. But yeah, Romo needs to go.
Tony Romo wasn't too hot with 3 interceptions. So, Colin Kaepernick, though, pretty solid, 201 yards, 2 touchdowns. Even DeMarco Murray was sluggish, only had 118 yards, but 1 touchdown, and it's, will the Cowboys ever be good? And I'm going to have to vote with no. And they just signed Romo to what, a $120 million contract? So even if he is hurt, I don't think they're letting him go anywhere.
I'm just gonna forget that contract ever happened. That didn't happen.
All right, so Anthony's in denial, so we're gonna move on. The Panthers beat Tampa Bay 20-14. Not much excitement there. Denver beat the Colts 31-24, making Peyton Manning, I think, the 3rd player to ever beat all 32 teams in the NFL. Brett Favre has also done that. Obviously, Peyton has never beat the Colts because he was playing for the Colts. So this was definitely a big redemption game for him. It's a big one. Andrew Luck versus Peyton Manning, very similar quarterbacks. It was a good game. It was good to see them face off against each other, and well, Denver had the upper hand.
Looks like Peyton Manning showed the Colts why he's still the best quarterback in the league. So
there you go, right there. To our Giants fans out there, you're not going to be happy about this one. Giants lost to the Lions 35-14 on Monday Night Football, which was really just atrocious. The Giants looked horrible, absolutely horrible. Didn't seem like anything was working. Eli looked sad and confused the entire time, but that's kind of his face recently. But a lot of things were just not clicking for the Giants, and I don't know what that's about.
The Giants look like they could be beat by Alabama. So just say they look like they could be beat by any SEC team, but the Giants they look like they weren't a pro team, in my opinion. But
very true. I mean, Eli Manning had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was 18 for 33, and then you're looking at Matthew Stafford, 2 touchdowns, 346 yards, 22 for 32. Matthew Stafford was on fire, and Giants were just not on fire, not at all. That was a very calm flame right there. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say they just suck. I hate Giants anyway, so I'm happy that they suck.
All right, that little Cowboy Giants rivalry. And then the last game of last week or this past week was San Diego versus Arizona, which actually ended up being a very close game. Arizona won 18-17. San Diego did not look too good in my opinion. Again, I haven't really cared about San Diego since LaDainian Tomlinson left, so I haven't cared about them in about 6 years. So this was one of those take it or leave it games. I'm actually a huge Larry Fitzgerald fan, so I really liked watching the Arizona game, seeing how they played. But that was this week in the NFL for y'all.
And I think the Cardinals defense looked really great. Like they showed that they could be a top defense and probably take this team far. So
All right, here we go. We're moving on to college football, and I'm sad about it because I know Anthony's about to get on me I'll just
so
start out with it. I'll just start out
I'm
with
gonna ask you, Jill, how do you feel about BYU? What do you have to say about that game?
You know, it was a tough game. Texas lost 41-7. It was not our best. It was not our best. I'm gonna give you that much. We did have Tyrone Swoop starting because David Ash is hurt. So we had, a young quarterback. We had two players missing from the offensive line. Offense was the issue. Defense was the issue. Special teams was the issue. Everything was the issue, and I don't know why. For some reason, we have cursed ourselves against BYU. It's become a thing where we feel we can't win. I think it's all mental because BYU, Taysom Hill, their quarterback, just destroyed us. Just the defense could not stop him. It was boys versus men in this game, and I gotta admit it was hard. And we're playing UCLA this weekend, and UCLA is a top-ranked team, playing them in Arlington, your Cowboys stadium right there. So let's keep our horns up for this one. Let's pull through and beat UCLA.
All right, I'll pull for your Longhorns. I'll pull for them. I hope they do well.
Thank you. Let me move on because I don't want to start crying over this. Not too many very surprising games, this week. Alabama, of course, decided to dominate and beat Florida Atlantic 41-0. Are we surprised? Not really. Big 12 matchup for you. Kansas State versus Iowa State. Kansas State won 32-28. Solid win right there. Nebraska beat McNeese State 31-24. Don't even know what that school is. So the fact that Nebraska struggled even that much, questionable. Unfortunately, Oklahoma beat Tulsa 52-7. So that sucks because they're still ranked 4th in the country, and us Longhorns hate OU a lot. Clemson was a little rude and decided to beat South Carolina State. I'm sorry. Decided to beat them 73-7.
Yeah.
So that happened. And then we had a USC Stanford game. This was probably second best game of this weekend, and USC pulled through 13-10, which I wasn't too surprised about. I've seen Stanford as kind of like a hype, while I've seen USC as more of a constant good team. USC is one of the best teams historically, in my opinion. We can't forget what they did in the early 2000s with Carroll. With the band, the coaching change, everything was kind of rocky for a little bit, but it seems like they're back on their feet, and I think they're probably going to continue to move up in the rankings. They're 14 now, but I doubt they're going to I'm sure they're going to finish in the top 10.
I totally agree. I think USC's kind of recaptured their old glory days, or at least are trying to recapture it, and they look like they could be back on track to be a top 5 team pretty soon. So that's always good because for college football, USC, when they're good, college football is more popular, so hopefully they can get back.
Exactly. My opinion, the best matchup this weekend, but didn't prove to be the best game, was Oregon versus Michigan State. That's number 3 versus 7. And Oregon loves to just, dominate. So that's what they did. 46-27 was the final score. Oregon, I feel like nobody can just beat them. But weird enough, they ended up in the Alamo Bowl last year with us. But they're number 3 in the country now. So I'm a little confused how that happened. They did kill us in the Alamo Bowl, and I saw firsthand how good this team is. They are good. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah, they're better than they get credit for, probably because they are in the Pac-12 and not the SEC. So that does have a lot to do with it. But about Michigan State, I really think that they'll pick it back up and be a better team. I think they'll still be a top team. I think one game shouldn't matter. So
yeah, I can agree with that. However, the We just talked about Michigan State. Let's talk about Michigan. Michigan got beat by Notre Dame 31-0. Not the best. Let's talk about another almost a shutout. Baylor, number 10, unfortunately a Big 12 team that we will be playing in a few weeks, won their game against Northwestern State 70-6. They didn't even have their starting quarterback in the game. So that's one that Texas is just going to enjoy in the beginning of October.
Yeah, always. I have nothing to say because I totally agree. Like exactly what you said. It's gonna be easy. So.
Yeah. An interesting matchup would have been Baylor versus Oregon because they both seem to love killing teams. So it'd be interesting to see how they did. They would do together. I mean, LSU beat Sam Houston State 56-0. We had a lot of dramatic scores this weekend. Texas A&M beat Lamar 73-3. I don't count this because they're not even playing real teams. So don't tell me A&M is good this year because they're not good. So I'm just going to shut that one down real quick. And then we had North Carolina played San Diego State. North Carolina struggled. They only won 31-27. And here's our little upset of the week. We've been waiting for one. Ohio State, ranked 8th in the country, lost to Virginia Tech, an unranked team, 35-21. Of course, Ohio State does have Braxton Miller out for the season. We knew this going into the season, which is why they were ranked so high, which is really unfortunate because we also know they had that bowl ban, so they couldn't be ranked. They couldn't play in any game, and they were the best team in the country. And then, of course, this year when they can compete, this happens.
They suck. Yeah, Ohio State's done for right now. Braxton Miller, he was the team, and without him, they're nothing right now. So I don't know what else they could do. I don't know. They're done. Just stick a fork in.
Week 2 and they're done. You heard it here first. And then, of course, UCLA. I got my eyes on y'all. Beat Memphis 42-35. Hoping, Texas can handle that one because Memphis wasn't too good of a team. So I think we got it. If Memphis could come that close, I'm feeling positive. I know you want to talk about Boise State. Go ahead, try to brag about something.
Well, I'm just going to say our running back, Jay Ajayi, is leading the league in yards from scrimmage, so that's something we got going for us. We may not play the best teams, but we do have one of the best running backs in Jay Ajayi, so I'm just going to say watch out for him. Could be an NFL star.
All right, so, again, we're making very bold claims for week 2. Let's see any big matchups coming up. We are going into week 3. We're starting to look at the college, how ESPN is already trying to figure out who's going to be the top teams in the college football playoff, and they're still saying OU for some reason, which drives me crazy. But we got South Carolina versus Georgia this week, which could be a good game. But, South Carolina's already kind of let us down this year because it turns out Jadeveon Clowney was their entire defense. So that got squashed real quick. That's really all the big top 25 matchups. Definitely want to watch that UCLA-Texas game. UCLA is favored by a touchdown. So it may not even be a blowout. But, again, we're coming back from this loss.
You don't sound very confident, do you?
I am confident. I just don't want to get my hopes up just yet. But we are having Tyrone Swoops is starting again. David Ash is still out. Those players are still suspended. Nothing's really changed. So.
Oh, well, good. I wish you guys the best of luck.
See, that's all it takes. Maybe we'll win now. I have nothing else to add. Any more sports you want to talk about?
Well, no, it's been a slow week in sports, so nothing really. But go Boise State.
Other than Ray Rice, we've really had nothing going on. So You'll see us again next week. Are we going to be doing Wednesdays?
We should be doing Wednesdays. Wednesdays sound about right.
All right, so you'll see us on Wednesday. We'll be back next week. Still no Armand, but I know y'all don't miss him, so we'll see you next week.
I'll tell you when I let him out the basement. Like, he's kind of locked up right now.
Yeah, Armand is just not allowed back on anymore. So we'll see you next week, and thank you for tuning in.